What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and it's been an interesting story to follow. The G4TV kind of slow motion car wreck that the channel had become. A channel that many of us remember very fondly because it was kind of the era before you had this high production value YouTubers putting on in-depth video game reviews. I mean, there were some out there, but they were all still kind of existing on their own websites at the time, and you kind of had to know where to go. Now you have the centralized place here on YouTube where we can get high quality, high production value video game reviews from 10,000 different sources, and that's just a small percentage of them. There are probably hundreds of thousands of reviews done of every major AAA title that comes out. At the time when G4TV was in its prime, with shows like XPlay and Attack of the Show, it was kind of felt like the first of its kind. Yes, Tech TV was a thing too, but it really felt like must-see TV. It was part of every single afternoon for me, Attack of the Show into XPlay, and I just absolutely loved it. Fast forward, many years, I went through college, and I didn't even really know that the channel stopped being aired until many years later when they announced their return. Huge budget, huge production value, something like 40, 50 employees on a YouTube channel that is still averaging like hardly any views. Like seriously, hardly any views. 559,000 views, granted, is a lot, but for a YouTube channel with 50 employees, they are absolutely hemorrhaging cash. There's absolutely no denying this. And what happened over the last week was kind of, it's really the first step. This is going to be completely shuttered in probably the next couple of months is what it looks like. Before we get into the full story, I just want to give a quick shout out to this video sponsor. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Kamikoto. That's right, Kamikoto makes Japanese steel kitchen knives using traditional techniques from Japan. Over 800 years of Japanese technology and expertise have gone into creating the steel that this knife has been meticulously handcrafted from, using techniques that date all the way back to the Edo period of Japan. Kamikoto only uses steel sourced from mills in Japan. Each knife comes in a beautiful, heavy-duty wood box. It makes sure that the knife is stored safely. Each knife is individually inspected and comes with a lifetime guarantee. These are knives that I personally own and use. I got a set through this promotion. Over Christmas, I used it to cut a beautiful brisket that I had made for the holidays, and cut ham and turkey and all sorts of things. Not only did it work flawlessly, but it was a talking point at the table. The knives felt like the perfect weight. They were perfectly balanced. And on top of all of this, just for you, my subscribers, you guys can get an additional $50 off any purchase you make with discount code THEQUARTERING. So click the link below and go to kamikoto.com/thequartering and use promo code THEQUARTERING to save an extra $50 today. Now, I noticed when you went to G4TV, as you can see in my address bar on the top here, youtube.com/G4TV, it no longer says G4TV. In fact, it says XPlay. And the channel is exclusively XPlay content. There's this other G4TV, which is now youtube.com/XPlay. And they've relabeled this G4TV. Why? Well, the channel is collapsing. They basically moved videos around and rebranded, but ultimately you look at this channel, even XPlay, Adam Sussler doing bits and speedrun the news, 3,000 views. Again, a decent number of views for any like standalone YouTuber, but for the money that's behind this, it's an absolute embarrassment. They're hemorrhaging cash. They have to be losing tens of thousands of dollars per month. Even their Gran Turismo 7 review, Gran Turismo 7, 5,000 views. The biggest release on the PlayStation 5 to date, pretty much, nobody cares about. They have 500,000 viewers and barely 1% of their 500,000 subscribers, barely 1% of them watch this video. And they're getting desperate. You know, this GoldenEye sucks actually. You know, they're even, I mean, Gran Turismo preview, I mean, 13,000 views on a live stream. It's absolutely brutally bad. This is it. I mean, they're in the final death throes now. And if you look, they've canceled shows too. If we go to Frosk's Twitter, many of you remember how she predictably backed out of a conversation on my channel, are announcing that a show called Boosted, which was, I think, on their esports channel, that show was canceled entirely. The team behind Boosted are exceptionally honorable and talented, and that's the greatest compliment I really have to give. I have what I consider normal, exceptionally low threshold for BS, bad work conditions, egos, or bigotry, and the industry is rife with promoting predators. Thankfully, everyone in our esports team are actually just respectable endemic industry professionals. So even that tweet had to kind of be, you know, virtue signal. And it's just 200 likes. Nobody cares anymore. And then there was this G4 channel update that they announced. Well, actually, Frosk on Boost's cancellation. I'm glad it sounds like their team is mostly good eggs. I don't know anything about that show. I didn't watch it. So, you know, they just, I guess they didn't have enough viewership to warrant it, like most of their channel. Now, G4TV put out this, where they're clearly trying to spin this. Let me be very, very, very clear. This is bad. Bad for G4. Imagine a world where you believe this marketing wonk and this spin. Essentially what they're saying is, our biggest brand, you know, the brand that everybody knows, G4TV, isn't, we're just going to mothball that, and we're just going to call it XPlay now. And we're going to put the XPlay videos on our G4TV channel to confuse all of our subscribers. This is a huge, huge mistake. Okay. You're going to see over the next couple of months, even worse subscriber engagement, because people who had subscribed to G4TV for a particular set of content is suddenly going to be getting subscriber notifications for content that they didn't subscribe for. Now, would they likely be interested in XPlay? It's not like you're sending out a completely different kind of videos. Yes, but it's going to hurt their notification, reaction, numbers, statistics, and you're going to see even worse. I mean, honestly, this is a channel that continues to grow in reverse. You know, back in November when they launched, 41,000, then 19,000 in December. Great, then boom, January, minus 2,000. And again, when the month before they gained 19,000, that's a massive drop. Minus 2,000 in January, minus 2,000 in February. And we're going to see them lose another 1,000. They're averaging 1,000, you know, minus 1,000 over the last couple of days. The channel's just dead. Renaming it XPlay is like, it reeks of desperation, but it's also even worse. It's going to make things worse. You see, G4 channel updates, March 2022. You typed, we read, and now we're making changes. We're all in this together. When G4 relaunched, we made a commitment to building the network with our audience and try and see approach to putting awesome content everywhere you watch. We saw how wild everyone went when we finally brought Scout the Woz to G4 and heard your calls for Kasonic cameos. Today, that means doing some Resident Evil 5 style inventory management. We've been busy behind the scenes optimizing each G4 platform, and these changes are direct reflection of that work. We're very excited to unveil this new look in collaboration with our friends at YouTube, and believe the revamped channel curation will make finding G4 content on the platform easier. They're wrong. This is knowledge that, you know, maybe somebody at YouTube told them, but it lacks any kind of real understanding of how people navigate YouTube, how the actual people navigate YouTube. Here are some adjustments you may notice over the coming weeks on G4's YouTube. The G4 channel that currently holds all those sweet XPlay VODs and reviews will become the brand new XPlay channel. Why? We can't really say. This way, you could subscribe to everything XPlay with just one click. Couldn't we do that before with an XPlay channel? Why do we now call that G4TV? XPlay with one click. This is much less confusing than playing Elden Ring. Aren't we nice? Ha 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 ha. Link to new XPlay channel incoming. They didn't even put a new link. they put this announcement out before they even launched a new XPlay channel, which I don't really understand why they would do that. We'd be saying ta-ta for now to the beloved Boosted and welcoming even more esports content to the G4 Esports channel. We're taking note of your feedback, like when you say you want more basement streams and cosplay. You're getting big tournaments like every month, like yesterday's Smash Invitational, blah, 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 blah. So now we have G4TV Esports, which, by the way, is also a dead channel. I mean, you have 1,800 views 7 days ago, 980 views 10 days ago. I mean, you have some random really good episodes, but I think that these are likely targets for view botting, which I believe they're doing now, or they have been doing. We know they've done in the past. And now you see live streams will air on their own channels. Also a huge mistake. This is something that many YouTubers had to figure out the hard way, that separating live streams off your main channel is actually not the play. That YouTube promotes live streams far more than they do standalone videos. And when you have a secondary live stream channel, yes, you can avoid cluttering up your main feed for your subscribers with longer videos, but it actually doesn't help you grow. In fact, your live stream channel won't have the benefit of your VODs, and your VODs won't have the benefit of the live stream. It's actually best to keep them together. Like we said, G4, XPlay's live shows will premiere on XPlay's YouTube channel. Attack of the Show will premiere on Attack of the Show YouTube channel, and so on. So they're separating all of the shows onto their own channels, which, quite frankly, doesn't make sense, because none of the shows have a big enough viewership to really warrant their own channels. They should all stay underneath the G4 umbrella. That's just my opinion. What do I know? My channel's not growing in reverse like theirs. Like we said before, G4 is our favorite group project. We're always listening. This is bad. This is unequivocally bad. This is the calm before the dreaded quote unquote reorganization. And really, the reason it failed is not because of Froskurrin's bizarre old virtue signal against men. It's because sometimes a project ends and it's before its time. But other times projects end, things end because it is their time. The fact of the matter is, shows like Attack of the Show had their moment in the sun, and it's now just being done better, more frequently, with higher production values and more grounded approaches by regular everyday YouTubers than this kind of disconnected corporate, we're geeks just like you stuff. That stuff flew 15, 20 years ago when Olivia Munn was, biting hot dogs and whatnot. But now people want authenticity. They don't necessarily care that much about stuff being super highly produced. They want their good information with people that they can relate to. And with G4TV, they relaunched, and they quite frankly had way too big of a scope. Attack of the Show was worth bringing back. So was XPlay. But that's about it. And until you could have given anybody, if it was my money that I was investing, until you could show that Attack of the Show is doing 2, 3, 4, 500,000 views per episode, which is just as much as any normal, everyday, regular YouTuber can get without that kind of budget, then there's no way I would have launched 20 other shows at the same time. They absolutely launched with way too large of a scope. They couldn't gain traction on really any of their channels because, honestly, when you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. And that's exactly why the G4TV relaunch was an abject failure. And we're just seeing the final death throes now. It's disappointing because I have fond memories of Attack of the Show and XPlay. And unfortunately for me, this relaunch won't ruin those for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.